let's start again. You've got a 3D printer and you made your own Majora's Mask. That's
Oh yeah,
cool.
yeah. So yes, I've got a resin 3D printer because, like you said, as we were discussing a second ago, Warhammer is crazy expensive. So I bought a 3D printer to print my own models, and then promptly got bored of it and saw that just like you just end up browsing these sites with all the designs people have done, and
I
I
love
saw
that
Majora's
Warhammer's
Mask.
so expensive that you're like, oh, I need a cheap alternative to buying models designed for children. I know, I'll buy
Yes.
a 3D printer and make my own. Well, I love that that's cheaper.
Oh,
That's
it
almost
is.
like it's like a turn of the century thing. You know how like we can't repair shit anymore? The companies don't
Yes.
want you to repair stuff, and there's movements like the right to repair movement and things in Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
And back in the day, it was this was really expensive to buy furniture, so I got a lathe and I got an electric saw and a couple of tools, and I made my own furniture because it was cheaper. And that just wouldn't be the case anymore for anything except
Yeah.
apparently making Warhammer cheaper just to build your own.
Exactly. But yes, the Majora's Mask was made with all the leftover resin and the Warhammer paints I have left, and it just
That's
became like a
so good.
project piece. Yeah,
That's so
it's turned
good.
out really well. I've got ironically since then, you can see in the left-hand side, I have another printer now. I bought a filament one because I wanted to print other like bigger things. Because I did the Majora's Mask, now I want to make bigger stuff. Like I want to make Spartan helmets from Halo and like
Fuck yeah.
the replica guns from that. Like I looked at one, I saw like a needler, and I was like, I need that. I must have a needler.
Need that in my life. That's awesome.
Yes.
I bought. We'll do an intro in a minute. There's a company in Western Australia that make
Yeah.
props for movies. That's what they do. But when they're
Okay.
not making
Yeah, yeah.
props for movies, they just make cool nerdy models. And they had a real sort of Fallout esque, that sort of 50s 40s sci-fi style like ray
Nice.
gun. And I bought it for my missus, and she loves it. And it's in a proper
Oh, that
little
sounds
case,
incredible.
and it's got like plasma cylinders that go in the top. And I was asking how they made it. They're like, "Oh no, that's like half of like a piece of a carburetor, and this is like tubing from car parts." And they put it all together, to make
Oh,
sick
okay.
models. So I'm like, "Oh, what was the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
movie project you guys worked on?" And they're like, "Oh, Lord of the Rings." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Like no biggie. I guess you guys do like both the fantasy and sci-fi." And it was absolutely sick.
I like how so they just casually drop. Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the
You might have heard
Rings.
of it.
It's like,
You know,
oh
it might be the
yeah, that was a
greatest.
book or something. Whatever, no big deal.
Yeah, it might just be the greatest piece of media ever written. But you know, we worked on that. But we're
Yeah.
making ray guns now out of car parts.
Yeah, the guy basically invented fantasy. No big deal. Samalam, welcome to the show. Samalam, you're a streamer. I'm
Yeah.
going to assume you're a little bit nerdy. Tell me if I
Uh,
overreach, if that's a step. But I'm going to
I
assume you're a
mean,
little bit of a geek.
it's been
It's the cat
suggested once or
ears. It's
twice.
the cat ears that
Yeah.
actually, that's the cherry on top. Samalam, take me through this shelf behind you, my dude.
Yeah, sure. So the shelf is the house. It starts with the house.
Right, okay.
The
Did you
so
3D print the whole house or
oh,
just the
no, no,
plumbing?
no, don't. There's not enough filament for that one. No, definitely not. It would have taken like those printers are slow. I would still be working on the garden. But I moved into the house, and I've always wanted a game room, and now I have the game room. So literally I got a mortgage just so I could have that cabinet behind me.
Fair, valid, yeah.
But I've populated it with all the stuff like talking of Lord of the Rings. I have the Lego Barad-dûr set there, and I've got Bowser
Is that a
and
face hugger? What is that thing next to
uh,
Barad-dûr? Opposite side to Bowser.
opposite side to Bowser. That is the Deku tree from
Oh, yeah,
Zelda.
yeah. Yeah, nice, cool. Not a face hugger, though,
So
that's fine.
no, no, I'm working on that. I can. So going back to the 3D printing, I am going to be 3D printing like an articulated one, so you can bend the fingers and the tail and all that sort of stuff.
I will buy that from you, that's sick. Talk me through your 3D printer. So, a filament 3D printer.
Yes.
I understand these words, but not in these contexts. So, filament to
Okay.
me
So
suggests it's like resin with cabling or something inside?
kind of, yeah. So how it works is you've got two types of printers normally. There's resin ones, which basically you get like a tank filled with resin, and it has a build plate that it lowers in, and at the bottom of the tank it's clear, and you have like a UV light that cures the resin in little bits, and that's how you get more detail out. Because they're using light instead of a nozzle, you can gives you more detail. So that's why it's good for things like minis and like fine detail parts, things like that. Whereas the filament, which is behind me, like you said, it has the thread. See how good this is with the camera?
Yeah,
I'm
this
pointing in
is
the right place.
yeah.
So,
You don't even live there. That's just a poster.
I have been tempted to do that on stream a couple of times. Is like get a cardboard cutout of like a fridge and just not address it until someone says like, "Why have you got a fridge there anymore?" And I'm like, "I'm going to break it to you now. The fridge is not even real."
What is reality? Sorry, I completely derailed you. The second type of 3D printer?
Oh, is a filament type. So it works with a nozzle, and like you said, it works with kind of like resin on a thread, but the nozzle will heat it up and obviously turn it into like a paste as it melts, and it builds layer by layer. So it kind of works in reverse to a resin printer, where like a resin printer will build down, a filament printer will build up.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yes.
Because I like this nerdy
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely.
So does anyone who comes along to my podcast.
They are good fun. Like filament is more for like costume stuff, I would say. Like I said, with the helmets and the fake guns and like but like armor pieces, things like that. And like I've printed like flower pots and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, very cool.
Whereas the resin one is a lot more brittle. So if you drop it, then it's likely something to shatter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, wow. All right. In the back of my head, it was all just kind of like plastic, but I guess not. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
you can get different types, yeah. But
yeah, right.
It's, but yeah,
cool,
it's such a versatile piece of kit. It's very fun to play with.
Yeah, I can definitely see, especially if you're just a little bit nerdy. You go, oh, can I make this? And maybe you make some shapes, maybe whatever, and then you're like, oh, I can like download a Pikachu off the internet, and then I can like splice it with something else, and then it's like a Pokemon 40k hybrid. Yeah, I can definitely see you can waste a lot of time. Yeah, that's excellent.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's the designs that people have come up with is crazy. Like you said, with like Pokemon. Like, there's someone that has gone through every Pokemon ever created and changed their heads to have the Rock, as in the wrestler, on each of them. So you've got like a Squirtle with the Rock's head and stuff.
No, Squirtle, in fairness, like of all the examples you could have picked, a Squirtle with the Rock's head is just a Squirtle with a different coloured head.
Yeah, true. But dear. It was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, it was the best one to pick. It was the best one.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Next shelf. What have we? Is that I want to say Stormtrooper helmet, but it's brown.
Oh no! So that's an N7 helmet from the game Mass Effect.
Oh right, yeah, man, excellent, very cool.
So yeah, that one lights up as well.
Is that Plants vs Zombies or just some flowers?
No, that's just some flowers. We're big fans of Lego in the house.
Great. Yeah, I saw a bit of there's Lego packaging somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next cubicle.
Next cubicle, we've got a Spartan Master Chief helmet that you.
I didn't. Now you say it, I can see it. There's stuff in front of it. I got you. Yep. Yeah,
I've got so much stuff. Stuff is starting to stack on top of other stuff.
Need a bigger games room. Time to buy a bigger house.
I do. Next one along, we've got Hollow Knight, and there's a blue shell, and there's a frog hat in there that I like to break out on stream sometimes.
Yep, reasonable.
Below that, we've got like a Bowser hat, a D&D dice. I watched your D&D podcast yesterday.
Yeah,
I was doing a bit of research.
That was the first episode. I was literally... I've been thinking about it. I like stories, I like creative writing and stuff, but of course I have a passion for stories.
Yeah.
And... Yeah, Alchemist. He's just a guy. He just pops into my chat from time to time, and he says he does Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I'm like, do you want to just talk about Dungeons and Dragons? And here we are. The rest is history.
You were bang on the money there. Like, if you find someone that plays and say, "Hey, do you want to talk about it?" and they'll be like, "Yes, yes, yes, yes."
Yeah, but it's great because it's all subculture. So it's all the kind of stuff we're dying to talk about, and no one in our life cares. Like 99.9% of the people they don't care.
Kind of stuff when you went to your parents, you talk to them for half an hour and they go, "Oh, that's nice."
Yeah, pat, pop it on the fridge, dear. Yeah,
exactly.
You talk to your family about it, and they're like, "There's real issues in the world. There's real issues in the world, and do you think incorrectly translated Klingon is one of those issues?"
Exactly. Yeah.
So, well, it's important to me.
Exactly.
So, Samalam, my streamer friend, although this podcast is not intended to be a podcast with only streamers, streamers are pretty easy to get hold of. So we have a lot of them. Yeah. And the topic for today is, and I did a bit of research.
Okay.
In 1989, a little gaming company released a game on the Super Nintendo called Sweet Home.
Yes.
And that was a game where I believe it's a film crew going around some sort of mansion or house trying to find something, and horror ensues. Now, this game was so popular that they made a move to remake the game. And they called it Biohazard in Japan, but they couldn't call it Biohazard in America because the name was already taken, and so they renamed it Resident Evil. And I understand that you're a man who likes to play Resident Evil games.
Oh, yes. Ironically, at the moment, we're just on the far end of Resident Evil 9 being released. So a lot of people are playing it again at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it seems written in the stars. Like, 2 days ago, they ghost dropping the old school ones from the 90s back onto Steam as well, which is where it all began. So that's literally what I was playing about half an hour before I started talking to you. Before in the start of the call was I was playing the first one again, so it had to be done.
I knew there were a lot of Resident Evil games. I've never really played them. I probably enjoy them more now, but growing up when I was getting into gaming, I just didn't dig first-person shooters or the horror survival genre, so I stuck with my RTS and RPGs. I knew there was a lot of Resident Evil titles. Like, I knew there were sequels, multiple sequels. There are 13 main Resident Evil games as of 2026. Yep. So there's 0 to 9, and then there's a handful of remakes. But if you include the light gun games, so like your OG Time Crisis style stuff, there's apparently over 60 different Resident Evil titles, spin-offs, and remakes.
Really? Wow.
And I remember, I think it was about 2002 when the movie came out. Yes. Is it a great movie? Yeah. No. Do I need heaps of quality from a technical filmmaking, writing, directing perspective for zombies? No. No, I don't. No. I like Mila Jovovich. I really enjoyed her in The Fifth Element. And because my friend had a PlayStation 2, we could watch the DVD, and we watched the behind the scenes where she said, this is a great film for me. I got to do 2 of my favourite things, wear a miniskirt and shoot a gun. And 13-year-old me said, I think I'm going to enjoy this film. And I did. And Marilyn Manson did the theme tune. Come on.
They did. Yes, they did a lot of the soundtrack to it. So, Paul W. Anderson, I believe.
W. Anderson. He's definitely a dude. He's a filmmaker. Something about Mortal Kombat, and he's having a picture taken with Mila Jovovich. Yep. Oh, yeah, there we go. Resident Evil Apocalypse. Nice.
So, yeah, fun fact is that Mila Jovovich is actually his wife, so you can see how she got that part.
Yep, okay, sure. And family taxable income. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, she's a great actress in the first place, so, you know, it seemed like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But,
well, if anything, it worked against her, because the later Resident Evil films, I get it. We're just making a marketable asset. We're going to do work, and we're going to try and make money from doing our work. They didn't need to happen. The last, I don't know, 3?
The last 4? I mean,
4?
I enjoyed...
I'm actually not sure I've seen them all.
Funny enough, I watched the first one with my daughter the other day because she's getting to the age now where she can start watching more grown-up films.
Yeah.
So I thought I just disturbed my child a bit by getting her to watch the first film. And she was
if
like,
you go out without your dad, this is what's going to happen to you. Yeah.
Don't go into strange mansions, kids. Yep. But it's one of the first films, like, you know, kids nowadays, they're on their phone, they're watching, but they're not watching because they've got TikTok going on. But this is the first film I've seen her in years where she was like, just leant forward watching. She was like, what's going to happen? Why is that happening, Dad?
That's so good.
Who's this character?
If anything, that just speaks to the quality of content they have. It's not that there's too much, it's that it's all rubbish, and so they're not paying any attention. That's excellent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, I remember watching the first film back, like I said, in 2002. We had we watched it on a DVD player, but it was an American DVD, so it was all in black and white. So we couldn't
Was
actually
it
see all the
bootleg?
colors.
Did you watch bootleg?
I don't think it was bootleg. I think it was just an American copy that my friend somehow got, but because it was like a PAL DVD
Yeah,
player or
I
something
remember
like
that used to be a drama we'd have to worry about when pirating shit. PAL and NSC or NF. There was a few different formats, and the regions
That's
around the
right.
world have different ones, and airplanes
That's
have
it.
their own one. Yeah, and it was real drama if you got them wrong. Because you have a mate who'd go to Thailand or something, and he'd come back with 1,000 DVDs. Because it was like
That's right,
$50 for a new DVD here, and he's getting them for 50 cents. Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember watching it in black and white, and then even obviously being like, I would have been about 11 then. I was like, this is terrifying. I love it because that's sort of how I got into it in the first place. So the first game came out in the UK in like 1996, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I remember it was my stepdad at the time. He borrowed it off of a friend, and he got me to play it, thinking, "Oh, this would be funny." Got onto it, found the first zombie, immediately had nightmares.
Excellent.
Which then, obviously, for the next 2 or 3 days, they were like, "Right, this was a bad idea. He's crying all the time now."
Yeah, but look at you
But
now.
it started.
Yeah.
Exactly. It started like a fascination with it though, because it's like when you're a kid, like you hear the story of the scary house on the hill. So of course you're going to go up there and ring the doorbell.
100%.
So
100%. Yeah.
So that's what started this. Is that because it scared me, I wanted to play it and I wanted to find out more. And sort of, it's just gone from there, really. Because then I introduced, because I knew it and I found it scary. I was like, "Have you kids heard of this?" Like, school would be like, "Have you guys heard about this? It's horrendous. It's destroyed my psyche forever. You should definitely play it."
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. And because boys, being very sensible, they go, "Oh, I can't wait." Yeah, absolutely can't wait.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't wait to change my perspective on everything.
To dramatically alter the course of my life through violence and horror. I mean, I was to say, I remember being about like 9 when I started watching horror films, and it was not okay. I remember with like Pumpkinhead, even Sphere was spooky enough back in the day. The original Pumpkinhead, horrendous. To a child, what kind of irresponsible parents did I have? We moved on to like Event Horizon.
That's one of the worst ones.
It's my favorite film now. It's almost a comfort film. Like everybody else, like I just watch The Office, right? I just watch whatever. I like to watch.
Yeah, like
Wuthering
Friends.
Heights. Yeah, Friends. Yeah, I want to watch all of those things. And I'm like, I'm going to watch Alien 2, probably all the Aliens. I can't really watch one anymore. I just have to watch all of them.
Yes,
all the Alien films, Event Horizon. They're great movies. Pumpkinhead, I can leave it.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It's like you said, with Aliens 2 and stuff like that. They're classics, aren't they? So you can watch them over and over again, and you even nowadays you're just noticing random things, like the amount of documentaries I watch on like YouTube of people that like would be like, "Oh, this happened because this happened," and they used this, and like how cramped they were for filming Alien 1 and what they used for the lighting effects, and it's just crazy and fascinating to learn about.
You almost feel bad because when it comes to CGI, there's so much that's so cheap and easy for people to do.
Yes. Yeah.
And yet they still make crap. And it's not fair for me to say that. I also have more access to films and movies than ever before. Like when I went to my Blockbuster or whatever, the privately owned video rental shop around the corner, the whole place only had maybe 100 possible films across all genres. And here's me browsing the internet with almost every movie ever made in any language at my disposal. And I'm like, why are movies so bad these days? It's like, they're not. You're just not the audience. Just settle down.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's sort of death by content, because there's so much now. You're like, well, that doesn't scratch my itch right now. Whereas back in the day, like you said, you have 100 DVDs. It's like, well, you can either watch Aliens or you can watch Shrek 1.
Yeah.
That's all you've got.
That's what you own. Yeah. Actually, speaking of potentially dodgy editing and filming, was Resident Evil 1 or 2 that had the live action cutscenes?
It's Resident Evil 1 that has those.
Yeah.
Again, that's something. After we watched the Resident Evil film, I told my daughter, I was like, "Ezzy, do you want to see the worst acting in the world?" She was like,
and she said,
"Yes,
"Dad,
of course."
do you mean Command and Conquer?" And you said, "No, no, even worse."
I don't know what you mean. The Command and Conquer acting all the way up into Red Alert 2, where they had Tim Curry going, the one place they cannot corrupt with capitalism, spice, is incredible. I don't know what you're talking about. But
And then
yes,
it was
a fun fact about the live action, like voice acting and all that sort of stuff with the first game is basically when Crystal Dynamics and Capcom made the first game, it was all in Japanese. Everything was Japanese, and then there was like a month, I think, left of them doing like basically doing all the translations and stuff. And they were like, "Oh crap, we've got to do voice acting with all of these in English." And so basically, they called in these amateur actors, and you got 2 takes, and that was it. So that's why the voice acting is horrendous, and it adds to part of the charm with. You need to insert it here. You know, the Jill sandwich.
I did. I was looking it up, and they keep referencing Jill sandwich. I don't know what it means. That's kind of the best part for me because there's I've fallen into pop culture references, but I'm not a part of the pop culture. So everyone's just talking about a Jill sandwich, and I'm like, no, it means nothing to me. It means nothing to me.
Yeah. So what it is in the first game there's a puzzle, and I don't want to give spoilers to anything because the games are all on like a revamp at the moment with everyone, so everyone's playing them. But there's a trap where a ceiling comes down, and one of the characters, there's a chance for him to come and save you, and he jumps like basically he saves you. He pulls you out before the ceiling comes down and crushes you, and instead of like being a normal human reaction, you get this whoa, that was close. You were almost a Jill sandwich. And then she replies, going, "Ha, you're right." That's it. It's just terrible
That's
voice
so
acting.
good. I'm going to add that as like a Twitch redeem. That's absolutely
it's
fantastic.
so good.
Yeah. It's
But it also, it's one of those things that adds to the charm of the Resident Evil games, is that it's like a cheesy B movie in places. And it adds to the humor and the fun of it.
Yeah. And I love that it's that limited workspace. Like, you know, Doom was made by a handful of nerds, and you look at their photos and you go, that's sweaty. And I can smell the picture. It smells like a bad games workshop at 2 a.m. on a Saturday.
Exactly. Yeah.
Microsoft, for God's sake, there's that great poster, and it's just them being dirty nerds, and it's like, would you have funded them? Like, it's
Exactly.
just appalling, greasy, filthy nerds. I think Diablo 1 was the same.
Yes.
Alien versus Predator, and I adore the Alien versus Predator games, but they didn't have a budget for anything, so their live-action cutscenes are just them. But it's like, this guy looks like a 15-year-old in an army suit. He's like, that guy is a 15-year-old in an army suit. We just didn't have anything else. They're just kids. They're making games.
Yes, I watched a YouTube documentary about that recently, and it is nuts how well they did with what little resources they have. And it's crazy how, in like sort of today's games, we're sort of getting back to that. Because people are losing interest in like the big AAA Call of Duties and Battlefields, and they're coming back to sort of your Hollow Knights and your Stardew's, things like
your
that.
passion projects that... You know, they're going to be smaller. They're not going to be as pretty, but at the same time, I was thinking on this today, it's why art style is so important, because the graphics of Stardew Valley and RimWorld in no way offend me. I might make some assumptions by looking at them, but if I look at a game that is trying very hard to be photorealistic, I don't have the infrastructure to run that game on high resolution, and I'm not buying a brand new computer for thousands of dollars just to do it. And I'm going to notice everything that looks wrong. So if we have a good art style, you know, there's a group I'm in on Reddit. They make games that look like PlayStation 1 games. Low polygon, low resolution. One guy was posting an issue. He's making games in a particular engine, and he says, my field of view looks weird because I'm trying to artificially reduce it. But of course, the game's like, no. The default field of view is massively, massively higher than what you got in a PlayStation 1. But it was the reduced field of view that made the scary PlayStation 1 game scary, because what you can't see is far more scary than what you can see.
Exactly, kind of like what they did with the old Silent Hill games, if you ever played those.
Yep, I played them a bit, but I know the story. Yeah, they didn't want to make the game foggy, but they just didn't have the resources to draw everything else in, so they had to make the game foggy, and they accidentally made one of the greatest genres, or an extremely good entry into one of the greatest genres of all time.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say that it's one of the greatest ones. Like, it's up there It's up there at least with Resident Evil,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. It's Resident Evil and it's Silent Hill. They've got games. They've got books. They've got
Yeah.
movies. Like,
So, you saying about like the development of games and them looking realistic and stuff. Now, I saw. I need to confirm if this is real. So, it's one of my. If it is, it's one of my favorite facts of all time at the moment, and that is that there are in Resident Evil 7. There's a female character called Lady Dimitrescu. It's the one in all the memes, the tall vampire goth lady that everyone is obsessed with, and basically I saw a meme about it, and I need to confirm if it's real, but they said that there's more polygons in her ass than there is in the entirety of the first Resident Evil game. And playing the first one again now from '96, I'm like, I think this might be real. I need to confirm
it. Could be. And the articulations of the polygons, though, the reality is you were just physically. You were closer to the polygons. They were literally bigger on your screen. Your textures were smaller. The pixels were bigger. I remember playing PS1 games, and if you went...
Yeah.
You could still see the pixels. You could still see the squares that they've just drawn the whole texture with.
Yeah.
Apparently it's likely false. It stems from exaggerated 3D model screenshots. But then I remember reading that the Lara Croft's boobs in the original Tomb Raider were actually just a bit of an error. They obviously wanted to make... Because they've got so little to work with. They've just got polygons.
Yes.
And they go, yes, we want her to be female. So we want to exaggerate it slightly. If we do... And I think the concern was if they just make tiny, tiny triangles for boobs, it just looks actually even weirder. So they made them a bit bigger, and then they accidentally kind of made them too big. But while everyone was playtesting, they just got used to it. And then it turned out, let's face it, the target audience at the time, teenage boys, they were fine with it. So here we are.
Exactly. It's again, that's one of the most iconic things with Tomb Raider, wasn't it? Was the triangle boobs. Like, people cosplay and they just put the triangles on, don't they? It's funny.
It's the best. So the first time you played Resident Evil, it was your stepfather.
Yes.
Terrifying nightmares. How long did it take you to come back to the first Resident Evil game?
Oh, immediately. Like, I carried on. I went back.
This is terrifying. The next morning, you're back in.
Yeah, because I went back to my parents and immediately reasoned, like, well, it was because it was nighttime. It's scary at nighttime. If I play it in the day, I'll be fine. And they were like, I don't know. It's like, well, we won't know until we try. Like, as a kid, you just keep pushing, don't you, until you 100%. Get told no, and they confiscate it from you.
Yep.
So the first game is in quite a limited space. It mostly takes place in the iconic Spencer Mansion. And you play as Jill and Chris. They're two members of STARS, which is a special tactics and rescue team. And you're investigating a series of grisly murders. And
I mean, so far, this is a great story. Special task force, grisly murders. Let's go.
Yeah. So while investigating, you get attacked in the forest by a bunch of zombie dogs. They chase you into this mansion where you take shelter, and you basically unravel the mystery of why are all these monsters here in the forest. And you can play as two characters. There's the classic trope with Resident Evil, is that they normally run a game with two characters. You play like A and then B, and then they've both got they basically run the same path, but they have different things happen to them, and then they have different equipment. So, for example, when you play as Jill, you start off with the lockpick, which means you can open certain doors, and you can get to there's like cupboards that you can open that give you help with ammo. And Jill has the classic, she can carry more items. Whereas if you play with Chris in the first one, his storyline is harder because he doesn't start with a gun, and he has less space to carry items, and he has less like healing items and save ribbons. So that takes me nicely onto the next thing, was the save system. To add to the pressure of having limited ammo, health, and healing items, you also had limited saves back then. You had to find these ink ribbons and take them to typewriters. So if you were panicking and you're saving all the time, well, bad news, you've ran out of saves for later on when things get really difficult.
That's so good.
Yeah, it adds a whole new level of like pressure to the game, which makes it very fun.
And that would have been really innovative, because I think games didn't save. And then everybody went, this is really complicated to code in, but okay, we've got to do it now. And then it became a thing. And then as we all know, like now we've got quick save buttons, so every step you
Yes.
take, quick save, just smashing it. Oh, need to get my pickpocket up in Skyrim. Time to cheese some quick save. So to
Oh
have
yes.
that opportunity to limit saves, that puts the pressure on. Well, it's
Yeah.
almost a requirement though, isn't it? Because a scary game that you can save whenever you want, it's just not that
Yes.
scary. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and it adds to the horror. Like, I don't want to go down this corridor because there might be a big scary monster. It kills me, and then I've got to redo the last hour of gameplay I've just worked so hard on. But yeah, it's like some of the risks they took, because obviously people could have said like, well, this is ridiculous. I just can't save my game. I don't want to play this. I can't. I lose my progress. I'm pissed off. I don't want to do this anymore. But they've included it all the way up into the newest one, where they've brought back the save ribbons again. But you can select it now. So if you want to have that classic experience, you can turn it on, and if you want the auto saves, you can just
Okay.
keep it as it is.
So they let you. They've taken the sharp edges off for some of the new players who might not be
Exactly.
diehard, because
Yeah.
I guess that's a risk when you make games now, because you've just we'll talk about movies before. You've just got so much choice. No, it's fun
Yes.
story, but it's actually really hard. So I'll just play something else.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, you can just save whenever you want, like it's Skyrim, or you can play the classic version, like your dad does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
like a real grown up.
Back
But
in my
that's
day,
part of the-
we didn't even have quick save.
Exactly. You kids with your rock and roll music and
Yeah.
your quick saves. But what is like you saying about having like games that are difficult? I think it plays also into sort of the people that play games like Dark Souls and Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm.
The joy is in how difficult it can be at times, and that's sort of led into why I'm so passionate about the old games, because they have remade 1, 2, 3, and 4 at this point.
I think they made
And
number one a third time. Is what I
they
was
did have a
looking at.
director's cut edition.
Oh, okay. Is that not technically a remake? Is that just like an
So it was-
expanded version?
Yeah, it had like extra music and things like that in.
Okay.
It was the first game from '96, but they updated it with. They've redone it a couple of times. Like there was one for the DS and then the Dreamcast and the Sega Saturn.
Oh,
and
right. I forgot that was the thing when every tech brand tried to make a console and tried to make a handheld. But when
Yeah.
by God, A for effort just never really worked, did it?
It was interesting because back then as well, like if you had your Sega Saturn and you bought, say, Resident Evil, it would be a little bit different to, say, the Nintendo 64. They'd have like different costumes and some of the puzzle codes would be different and things like
Okay.
that as well, which I thought. So I was watching a documentary just to refresh my memory on everything on YouTube yesterday, and they were saying about how the Resident Evil 2 on the Nintendo 64 had codes for safes that were completely different, and like because it used the cartridge, they had because they had to use they had to compress the game down. So originally on the PlayStation you had 2 discs. You had one for Leon and you had one for Claire. But obviously on the Nintendo 64 you've got one cartridge which has less space than these discs. So they took it down to the bare bones, and they've managed to compress the whole game into about 10% of the space on the cartridge, and still had time to put like some extra things in there, like costumes and a randomizer and things like
love
that as
that.
well, which is
I love the
which
ingenuity.
I thought was very
I
cool.
remember a friend of mine had StarCraft on the Nintendo 64, and I was impressed
yeah.
that it just existed for the Nintendo 64 at all.
Mm.
And then, of course, all the icons and the cutscenes. I don't remember if the cutscenes were there. I assume they were in like a lower res version. But even in like
Yeah.
the mission briefings where all the faces were on the screens were moving, everything was just static. And I was like, what is this? This is like we've got StarCraft at home. You don't need StarCraft. Or what is this like budget version of StarCraft you play? I know watching a documentary about Myst, if you've ever played Myst or Riven.
No, I've seen them. I'm aware of them, but I
Yeah,
haven't ever
they
played
were.
them.
Myst in particular was just classic leader in the point and click adventure games.
Yeah.
And they spoke about just the challenges. It was, I don't know if it's still, I mean, I'm sure it still exists, but I don't know if it's something people worry about anymore. There's software that you have which determines where physically on the CD your
Yeah.
information was stored. And so if certain
Okay.
information's around here, because it's, say, like the wrapper area, it's the area you're at between levels, that's kind of the
Yes. Yeah.
first thing you get to, because that's where the players go to start with. But maybe you move that to the middle of the disc, because then you can put the
Right.
levels on either side, so that the loading time is shorter, because the computer has to dump the memory, literally move the disc and the laser, find that spot, and then write that memory in. And so if you have it too far away, then it means the last level you go to takes forever to load, because it's just a mile
Yeah,
away
yeah.
from the rest of the data, and the laser has to go through
Okay.
everything to get there. And I like, there's just,
Wow.
you just don't think about that. Like, oh, good, we got a concept, we got funding, we've got textures, we've got graphic design, we've got the physics going on, we've made a whole game, everything's really good. Now, how do I fit it onto this pretzel that people put into their computers so that it works?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then do it for a
it's-
PlayStation. Like, Riven had 4 discs on the PlayStation 1.
Did it really? That I remember that used to blow my mind with like the old Final Fantasies with like
Oh,
Final
they
Fantasy
did
7
too,
had
didn't
3
they?
discs.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 8 had 4 discs, and then like the Gran Turismos, you had like the
Oh,
one
yeah.
disc had your races, and then the other one you did all your licenses on and things like that. It was
It's
It
like
was
it's a
cra- it was-
committee just to play a video game.
yeah,
Yeah. I look back at it now, and I think I used to play a game as a child on DOS called Jazz Jackrabbit, and of course it's DOS. So for
Yeah.
anyone who doesn't know, or you kids that might stumble upon this podcast, it's command
you
line
kids with your
interface.
quick saves.
Yeah, you and your quick save and your microwave oven and your color television. You had to, as you see in your browsers and to an extent your file explorers, it will say like C semicolon / my documents and settings. You had to type that in. And it's
Yes,
not that
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a struggle to me to understand, but I recently, a year or so ago, I was mucking around with DOSBox to try and get something to run.
Yeah.
And it's not that I couldn't work it out, I just knew I didn't know what I needed to type in so I could look it up. It's the fact, when I was like 6 years old, I knew how to do it. Like, I was shown once, I'm like, cool, I can just run every game now, I'll work it out, no problem.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy how intuitive kids are with stuff like that.
It's scary.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely.
We should turn children
Yeah.
into spies.
I think they already are. They know far too much, especially my one. She recently discovered Jackass, if you remember that.
Yes, I'm sorry.
He was like,
Yeah.
"Dad, I found this on YouTube.
Yeah,
Is
he went,
this
"Oh,
what you watched?"
Your mother is going to be thrilled. Yeah.
But she liked the bit where Bam Margera used to beat up his dad. So and this is now started to leak onto my streams, where she will just kick the door in and then just start slapping me around for like 2 or 3 seconds, and then she runs out the room again. And like I'll be in the middle of something, and I'll just suddenly be like, "What? What are you doing?" And then she runs away again.
Oh, you get jackassed by your daughter on stream. That is sensational. Oh, I'm very happy
Of course,
for
the
you.
chat love it and they fully
Yeah.
encourage it. So I haven't told her to stop yet.
Yeah, that's where it gets away from you. I've found that when I use any kind of mod, I'll often play Sons of the Forest with Chaos Tricks
Yes.
mods on.
Okay.
And
what
what I
does
found-
that bring?
Just a list. I mean, the clues in the title. They can send items in. They can send bad guys in. They can make good things
Oh,
happen.
yes.
They can make bad things
Yeah, yeah.
happen. And chat. If you're playing Sons of the Forest and people come to watch you play Sons of the Forest, or
Yep.
Minecraft, or any of those other crafting survival games, chat is very, very supportive. They really genuinely want you to do well. Good job. Great build. Good work. GG's. If
I don't know
they
if you're being
can mess
sarcastic
with
or
your
not.
game, though,
Yeah.
they can't wait. So, oh, you're trying to paraglide over the golf course? Be a shame if it was nighttime. Yeah? Oh, you just finished building this wall so no enemies can get in? Be a shame if somebody spawned a bunch of enemies in.
But they have the same thing for Resident Evil as well, where you can spawn zombies and things like that. My friend
Really?
Dan, he was streaming it and was testing it out, and I immediately dropped like £10 just to
Yeah.
spawn the final boss at the start of the game to chase him around the police station. It was
I
so
love that.
fun to watch because he's just like, "Why would you do that?"
Because I'm your friend and I care about you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making money out of this. Why are you complaining? Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's
It's
another
like getting
one.
a tetanus shot. You're not supposed to enjoy it. It's good for you.
Exactly. Now take your medicine.
And this is where my Resident Evil ignorance comes in. It's my understanding that essentially the whole game is kind of a puzzle in the sense you've got limited everything.
Yes.
So there's only so many health packs, there's only so many saves, there's only so many bullets, and if you do have
Yes.
melee, it's not very good. And
The melee
in
didn't get good
Resident
until 4.
Okay, in Resident Evil 1, the rooms don't stay cleared? The zombies
They do,
respawn?
yes.
They do? Okay.
So, this is where the remakes come in. This is the problem. You try and get information, and the remakes all bleed in. Like, I'm playing the old one at the moment. I was like, I swear there was a room here. And I was like, oh, wait, no, that's in the remake, so I don't need to go there.
Right.
So, in the first game, it starts off, in the corridors, you're fighting I say normal things. You're fighting the zombies, and then later on in the game, it spawns in hunters, which are like these frog creatures. And they're tougher, they're faster, they can jump over you, they're more sort of versatile to fight against. But by then you have the shotgun and things like that to fight them off. Whereas in the remake, instead of just chucking a bunch of hunters at you, what they did was you kill the zombies, but they're on the floor and they stay there. And they added a new mechanic where you have to find some fuel and the lighter, which then obviously takes up space in your inventory slot, so it takes more time to figure out puzzles. But you have to burn the bodies, otherwise later on they mutate into these things called Crimson Heads, which are zombies, but they're faster and more aggressive, and they sprint at you instead of just the normal shambling zombies you deal with, which in my opinion is so much more terrifying to deal with than just like frog lizard monsters. And one of my favorite things at the moment is watching new people play the Resident Evil games.
Excellent.
So one of my friends, Peach, she's never played them before, and she's started from 1. She's doing the remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, the old ones with their dog shit tank controls, I enjoy watching people play that, but it must be so frustrating for people that don't play.
That were
like
born
you said,
after the joystick was invented for PlayStation.
Exactly. These quick save kids, they can't handle tank controls. But she's, I'll be watching her and I'll be like, oh, okay, she's walking down this corridor. This is where the dogs jump through the window. And I'll be watching, I will literally be sat in my chair.
Even I know that scene.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shit themselves.
Exactly. And because she has this fear of the game, she's like, I don't want to walk down this corridor. And she's like, you've got to. You have to go down there. You've got the key for the door. You've got oh, the dogs have jumped through. And she'll be like, ah!
Yeah.
And then like, obviously you type in chat, that was amazing. She was like, you knew about this.
Yeah.
You knew this was coming and you said nothing.
What was the space between Resident Evil 1 and 2? Did number 2 come out on the PlayStation 1?
It did, yes. So it was so Resident Evil 1 came out in 1996 in the UK, and it was I think it was just crossing over into 97 for everywhere else. And then Resident Evil 2 came out in 1998.
Oh, great. Okay. Is it a big
So
step up? Is it same sort of engine? Well,
yeah, I would say it is.
Engine. I don't even know if that's a choice on the PlayStation 1.
I'm not too sure either, actually. I'm going to have to look that up. But, so, yeah, I would say it's a big step up, whereas in Resident Evil 1, you're mostly in the mansion, and then you wander out into the garden a little bit, into like a shed area, and then you go to the labs, which is underneath. So there's only like really 2 main areas, because the outside and the shed is sort of like maybe you spend about an hour. Mm-hmm. You go out there, like you fight a boss, you come back. Whereas in 2, you have the iconic Raccoon City police station, which you're in there for I say the first third of the game. The second third, you're in the sewers, and which is directly underneath the police station, and then after that, you're in the labs, which is underneath the sewers, kind of thing.
Right, they just keep digging underground. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. The best place to hide all of these horrendous experiments is directly under public buildings, definitely.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah.
With the remakes, they added in a few different locations to sort of mix it up. Because obviously, if you just make a one-for-one remake of like the original, then people will be like, yeah, it looks amazing, but like you've changed nothing. The puzzles are all the same. So they've added a few things, like you go to an orphanage in the second one, so which means then you've got to go through the streets a little bit and stuff like that as well.
That's nice. Well, that'd be a really interesting line to walk, because the game is such a classic and so beloved, you're quite happy to invest millions of dollars making a remake.
Yes, yeah.
So make a remake, but if it's a carbon copy that's just shinier, well, you're going to disappoint people. So what are you going to add? How much can you add before.
Yep.
It's almost like sequels. Like as they said,
Yes.
it was so Sweet Home. So
Sweet Home. Yes.
yeah, so just so the tightrope there for a remake is it's beloved. You want to remake it,
Yes.
but if you change so much because it's so beloved, you're essentially making a sequel. And because
Yes.
that's what Resident Evil was going to be. It was going to be a remake of Sweet Home, but they ended up
Yes.
just changing so much because they're just innovating on the space that it's like, well, now it's just a different game. So a remake would be that real challenge of how much can I I can add better textures, maybe I can rebuild, redraw, and reanimate the characters now. But
yes.
if suddenly we're parrying everybody like it's Assassin's Creed, it's not the same game.
Yes. It's such a hard tightrope to walk because, like you said, you want to please the purists that love the old series, but you also want to draw in new people, so you have to add things like a quick save and
quick save and
stuff like
Joy-Con versus tank controls and save ribbons.
Exactly. Yeah, it's it's a tough one because you're always going to get your critics as well. That's one of my favorite things to do is when a game comes out, I'll check the reviews and just see like people going like, "This doesn't work on my old laptop. This game is rubbish, negative," and things like that. And it's just like, of course it's not for you because you're trying to run it on Windows 98. What are you doing?
It's not going to happen, buddy.
Exactly.
That's a comment I've seen a bit in Reddit where you go to like a video game or a movie that you like. So you go to that subreddit and everyone's negative and people are like carrying on going, why is everyone here just hates it? And it's like, oh yeah, we don't make a subreddit for things that we love to tell everyone how much we love things. We make a subreddit for the things we love to complain about them.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But going back to Sweet Home, from what I understand, I don't know much about it, I must be honest, is that the enemies in that game were more like spooky ghosts and like supernatural things, whereas Resident Evil is more visceral. And obviously it's monsters, but that's one of the things that I enjoy about the Resident
Evil. Right? It's more along the lines of like Chrono Trigger, just looking at some of these images. I mean, it came out in 1989.
Oh, really?
It's as old as I am.
89? That's the same as me.
Nice. See, we were born in the last decade of decent music.
It's a good year. But that was one of the things that I do like about the Resident Evil series is that all of the monsters and the storyline, it all gets... There's a reason for all of it. They're not just like, oh, there's zombies here. Why are they here? Oh, magic. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. There's a virus. And who developed that? Who developed that virus? Well, it's Oswald Spencer, the owner of the mansion. It's like, well, why did he do it? It's well because he did some research and like over the course of the games, the storyline has become more and more fleshed out. Obviously, because it's matured over the 20 years that it's been out. But it's like, for example, like if you want to know like the very, very, very beginning of the story, you play Resident Evil 8 first, because then they give you some snippets as to why the guy started.
So they're not all they're not in chronological order, which is fairly normal, I think. By the time you're getting more than 5 games. I remember watching all the Hellraiser films because I'm a nerd for horror. By the time you get to Hellraiser 3, forget about it. You came here for Pinhead and violence. By the time you get to Hellraiser 6, like, again, you're just here for the violence. The story makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah. There's one, they get sucked into, like, the original Mac. And that was the era of, like, oh, the computers are scary. There's scary computer virus world land or whatever. And then I think the last one, they're in space.
Like the Jason X one where they revive him in space.
Yeah, just Hellraiser in space, fine, I guess. I mean, it doesn't make any less sense than the original film. It's just harder to wrap your head around. I guess if you're going to make... So you said Resident Evil 8. It's either going to be at the same time zone somewhere else in the world, or it's just either in a fictional future, or it has to go to the past. Yeah,
exactly. It is crazy, like how they've done some of this stuff as well. Like, the main, like, I'd say storyline for Resident Evil is the Raccoon City incident. So it's a fictional city in sort of Midwest America. And the story develops as in, you've got the mansion incident, which is Resident Evil 1, but you've also got Resident Evil 0, which came out after 3, which is like the day before the mansion incident. So it's why you end up finding out why the Stars team went to the mansion in the first game.
Oh, okay.
And then,
yeah, because it's always like bad things happen. My generic sergeant sent team here, and I'm special generic fighting team. It's like, okay, cool. That's all the story.
You say you don't know anything about the game, but that was bang on for exactly
right. That's precisely how the story goes. Does the story hold up when you play the remakes? Obviously, they've added little bits in, which I'm assuming are fairly non-consequential, or maybe they plug into some of the additional story that they've made over the years. But did the original stories hold up? Because I remember getting very excited to play Ocarina of Time when they brought it to the Switch. I remember playing as a kid, and I remember, I know, and I can tell you what it was. The Ocarina of Time story was lore-heavy, rich, full of characters, plot development, character arcs, brooding and moody, with incredible supernatural elements. And then, of course, when you play it again as an adult, this deep, lore-rich story is... the tree speaks bad Shakespearean English, and you're like, all right, bad guy, need to help people, and the fairy goes, hey, we should go over there. And you're like, why? Hey, we should go over there. Okay. What an incredible story. I'm changed as a person.
I would say, see, this is difficult. It's like if you were to watch Star Wars as an adult, you're like, why are they running around with laser swords when everyone has guns?
Yep.
And what is this? But obviously, as a kid, you're like, this is incredible. I want an X-Wing. I want a lightsaber. I want to be a Jedi.
Well, as a kid, you can have stuff. Why do you need it? Because it's cool. I need a roof. I need somewhere to keep the weather off my family. We need food. We need security. We need safety. There's things I need. Why do you want them? Because we need these things to survive. Kids, why do you want it? It's cool. It goes woo, 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 woo when I swash it about. Yeah, it's cool.
Exactly. But in terms of the story, I'm trying not to be biased, obviously, because I love the series. But I would say the story does hold up. Because they went for like a visceral horror instead of a supernatural, I feel like it does hold up, because like viruses are still a problem. We've still got Ebola and things like that. So it would make sense that someone somewhere in a lab is researching this stuff. So why not an evil corporation? We haven't ever heard of one of those.
Imagine a laboratory somewhere researching a virus that got out and caused havoc around the world. I mean that's crazy. That crazy. Imagine that being a thing. What a work of fiction.
I remember when the Resident Evil 3 remake came out. It was during COVID-19. It was just starting to come out. It hadn't got out of Wuhan yet. And I remember playing it. And there's like a street you go into, and you go into a pharmacy. And I was like, I was playing it in Discord with some friends. I'm like, this game's bullshit. Okay, we've got a zombie epidemic, and there's still toilet paper on the shelves. This is insane. This is not real. My immersion is ruined. I don't want to be part of this.
It makes no sense. Suspension of disbelief has been destroyed. There is no way you would have the hint of a zombie outbreak and there would be toilet paper on the shelves. Doesn't happen.
It's crazy.
I always used to think it was funny when you watch, like, oh, the end of the world is just kicking off. And for some reason, so many buildings are on fire.
Yeah.
I can appreciate one or two, but it's really hard to even get any kind of oven or gas burner that can set fire to shit if you just leave it on. They're designed specifically not to do that. And it's so like, why are these buildings on fire? So everybody started stress smoking and throwing all of their cigarettes into the toilet paper. I don't know, like, why are the buildings on fire? Resident Evil 3. Are we up to PlayStation 2 by then?
Nope, this is still on PlayStation 1. This one came out in 2000. It does, yeah. They had quite a few come out. So Resident Evil 3. So this takes place before and after 2. So how this works. So you have 0, which is the day before the mansion incident. 1 is the mansion incident. The Stars escape from the mansion. They go back to Raccoon City with their findings. They report on Umbrella, saying, like, look, Umbrella were doing all this stuff in the forest. Well, the problem is at the end of number 1 is that there's a self-destruct sequence in the mansion. So the mansion's blown up.
Self-destruct sequence. Oh, that's so 1985. The bad thing is got a self-destruct. You built a house with C4 in the fucking walls? Like, why? Who signed off on that?
But the thing is that the self-destruct sequence is a trope for Resident Evil. Like, every game has a self-destruct sequence at the end. Mm-hmm. So in the second one, basically the stars go back. They report to the police station and say like, look, Umbrella Corporation, the guys that made the virus, they're doing this in the Arcade Mountains. Well, there's no mansion there now. You blew it up. So how can you prove that? And it turns out that like the police chief, he's in cahoots with Umbrella being paid off. And you go into the labs underneath the police station. That self-destructs.
Of course it does.
And of course, and you escape from the labs, and that was the end of 2. So number 3 goes back to Jill from the first game, and it's basically her trying to escape from Raccoon City because the zombies broke out from the labs in underneath the city, and they've infected the streets now. So it's her trying to get out.
Before it self-destructs. They go
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So it's the day before Resident Evil 2 happens, and then during the storyline, you get knocked out, and you play as a different character called Carlos, who is part of the Umbrella Corporation mercenaries, which is their effort to try and contain the incident in the city. You team up with him, he manages to save you, you wake up, and you escape the city before the government nukes Raccoon City because they realize they can't contain this zombie outbreak. So instead of just dealing with it, they just nuke it and like, you know what, it's fine, we'll just quarantine that area, we'll get rid of it.
That's one of the other tropes I love, where they're like, oh no, the government's coming to stop the thing because the top secret thing we were doing got out, and now everyone's in existential danger, but it's currently on a very small scale. It's like that's what breaks the immersion for me, is how well organized governments are in horror films. It's like, it took them 15 years to build a bridge, right? We've been arguing. I live in Victoria. Exactly. Do not talk about getting a train line to the airport. Just don't bring it up, right? But then it's like, oh, there's a zombie outbreak on a small scale. Are we going to believe them? Are we going to investigate? No, nuke them from space. Blow it up now.
Exactly. Yeah. But the great thing about Resident Evil 3 is they invented a trope as well, which became like a hallmark of the series, where I'm sure it's up there with like top villains of all time. I'm sure it's on like a BuzzFeed like video somewhere. They're like top 10 villains of all time, and it's Nemesis, and he was originally called the Pursuer, but the fans loved it so much because the game title was Nemesis, and your Nemesis is meant to be the Pursuer, but they called the Pursuer Nemesis, so Capcom have just rolled with it. Okay. And it's a trope that they've tried to include in pretty much every Resident Evil since. And it's like a big bad. You can't kill it. It nice. Just comes back, and it keeps chasing you. So it adds, because you already have this limited ammo and limited heals and limited saves and all that lovely stuff. But not only are you just dealing with zombies and clearing out streets and stuff like that. Now you've got this invincible monster chasing you. In the original 2000 one, you could knock him out. You could stand and fight him and knock him out, but he'll get back up in like 10 minutes and he'll start chasing you again.
Okay.
And you would get rewarded for knocking him out. Like he would drop a case and that would give you like bullets, or it'll give you like gun parts to make your handgun more powerful, things like that. So you get rewarded for standing and fighting him. But in like your first playthrough, you're just going to run from him.
Yeah, 100%. I like that. I like that as a mechanic. You never want it. You never want to get too powerful in a game. I want to play the game and the initial enemies become a bit easier, and then you can introduce harder enemies, and there's a progression there. But when it's like, by the end of the game, you're going to be God, and then we'll just end the game. You know, I was reading something about that. They're like, what's up with Assassin's Creed games? You just unlock all the best armor and weapons, and the game ends, and there's nothing to use it on. Like, there's just no point. What are we up to? Resident Evil. We just did 3, so 3 was still on the PS1.
3 was on the PS1. Yep. So that 4... one is. So 3 sort of ends the Raccoon City storyline because at the end of it, it gets nuked. It's gone.
That'll do it. It's not like it's the Death Star where they'll just find huge pieces that somehow survived. Yeah. It's done.
Exactly. Well, you say that, we haven't got to 9 yet.
Right,
so give it time.
Yeah. Yeah, buckle up. We've got a few to get through.
Exactly. So at the end of 3, there's also some games that came out on Dreamcast, I think it was Dreamcast, and PlayStation called the Outbreak Files. It was also on GameCube. And what it was is they go back to the Raccoon City storyline, and it's like it was the first time they attempted co-op in the games. So it was around the time of Code Veronica X, as well, which is another. I'll come up with that in a second. I'm trying to keep it in a tangible, like, way that I can keep it making sense. So the Outbreak files take place in Raccoon City, and it's like everyday kind of people. But the way the co-op worked is you would pick like your character, and then you would go through a storyline, and then like everyone got like a pool of characters they could choose from. So there was a guy that was a cop, there was a reporter, there was like it was almost like a gymnast kind of character, and all these different characters had different abilities. So like the cop would be strong, so he would move a big box, and then the gymnast would like be able to fit through vents and things like that. And the team that you took into the storyline would affect the path that you go down.
I like that. Yeah, cool.
And then you could get like sort of different outcomes for puzzles and things like that. And it was it ends obviously with you escaping the city and the city blowing up and stuff like that. But that was like sort of the first time they attempted to do a co-op thing on it, which was done on like that was on PlayStation 2. It was on like the PlayStation Network, which was like the progenitor to like sort of actual online gaming.
Yeah, because people would buy their PlayStations and they go, "Why is there an internet cable hole in the back of my PlayStation?" And I think I had maybe one friend that actually used it because, I mean, back in the day, PS2, a lot of people still rocking dial-up. Or if you are getting ADSL, it's not ADSL 2, it's ADSL.
Yeah.
And that was, what was that, like 120 megabyte down? I forget what that was. And then some people got cable. Whoa.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's... Yeah, it blew people away too, because they're like, what do you mean in real time I can play on my PlayStation, possibly with other people? Craziness.
It changed everything. Yeah, yes, the first time playing online games was the Xbox 360 for me, playing on Halo 2.
Yeah, and, online games, that'll never take off. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And I remember like my mum shouting upstairs, like, "Get off the internet! I need to use the phone." And I'd be like, "I'm mid-game! I can't just pause this!"
Mum, don't! Yeah. You don't understand. I'm assuming we've gone from D-pad, and by the time we get to Resident Evil 3, we've got the analog controller?
Still using the D-pad in 3.
And tank controls?
Tank controls as well, which a lot of people criticized 3 at the time because you had the analog sticks. They're like, why are we still not using this in the game? Okay. So, but then you've timed that perfectly, because then finishing off from 3 going into 4, they completely changed everything. So 0, 1, 2, 3 in Code Veronica was like a fixed camera. Like you had like the static backgrounds and your character would run around, and the camera. The part of the horror in that was that the camera would change and you couldn't see where the zombies are. With 4, they switched to an over-the-shoulder camera, which was very, very different. And it was this is where sort of the horror aspect of Resident Evil started to fade out, and they started leaning into more action.
Okay. Yeah.
So you've gone from this super limited ammo, super limited saves, super limited health. Everything's like feels claustrophobic. It feels tight. Whereas now you're just running around, and it's more of an action thing. So you could do things like you're so much more capable now as well, because your character is Leon from Resident Evil 2, but he's obviously survived the incident. He's gone off. He's trained up, and now he works for the government as like a special agent. And he's so much more able to look after himself. So, like, you're doing things like if you shoot a zombie in the face, which now you can do because you can aim it over the shoulder, they'll react to it. Like, they cover their face because obviously they've just been shot in the teeth. So you can run up and then spin kick them and things like that. Right, and they've started adding like cheesy one-liners from like a B film and stuff like that. Like, there's an iconic scene in the 4th game where at the start you walk into a village and all of the villagers start attacking you, and you survive the encounter. A bell starts ringing, and all of them become like lobotomized, and they just suddenly walk off towards this church where the bell's ringing. And as they all walk off, he goes, "Oh, where's everybody going? Bingo." And it's just like, oh, why would you say that?
That become kind of a staple of, especially of horror films, because I feel like maybe not so much in the 70s, but definitely the 80s, films are much more popular. They're cheaper and easier to make, and you got your B-grade horror films, and you got your one-liners, like Ash vs. Evil Dead, like all of them. you can't
Yes.
put the line, I came here to kick ass and chew gum and I'm all out of gum. You can't have
Yep.
that as a redeem on Twitch because it comes up
Oh,
flagged as
really?
copyright.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
But if I play
Oh,
the
wow.
Ghostbusters theme song, it's like 50-50 if they pick that up. Like
okay.
those cheesy one-liners were, they are cheesy, but that's what made them great. But you sort of had to make them
Exactly.
cheesy because you needed your characters to stick out. Like not everyone
Yes.
got a Ripley,
You needed the
right?
hook.
Yeah, not everybody got a
Exactly.
character that was great. And when you're making a pulp fiction, a zombie
Yes.
flick, you gotta do something silly. And all the zombies are coming like, yeah, I didn't come here for sophisticated dialogue,
Exactly. You're not there to think. You're there to just be entertained.
Yeah, I don't want
Yeah.
a very, very, very sensible zombie film because zombies aren't very, very sensible. It doesn't make any sense to begin with. Well, that's it. That's why I enjoy a zombie game too, because you don't have to think. I would often play them after work. Like Dying Light 1, when I was working in frontline retail and customers are carrying on, it was great to just kick around and fight zombies.
Oh, yeah. Dead Rising, things like that, where you can go into a shopping mall and just run a trolley into everyone. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
thank God. This is where the
Yes.
milk is, bitch.
Let me show you where the specials are. Talk to my manager. Fucking hell.
Exactly.
Oh, it's like PTSD now. But with because there's also no moral ambiguity. There's a game called I Am Alive. It's got one great
I've
mechanic.
seen it.
Yeah, where
Yeah.
if you point a gun at someone, everyone behaves like your gun might be loaded, which I think's great
Okay.
because they're like, oh, you don't have any ammo, as if they would know.
Yeah.
But also, there's so much room for I don't necessarily have to fight the person. They're just trying to protect
Yeah.
what they have. They're frightened I'm going to steal it from them. Yes, I can shoot them and take it, and maybe I'll get more ammo, and I can kill other people and take their stuff. But how's that going to affect the game? With zombies, there's no getting better. I might
No,
feel
they're
bad if
just-
it's someone I know, but that's about it.
It might be the opposite, though. You feel better because you've put them out of their misery because they're
Right?
clearly suffering.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, it's they're just the punching bags of the horror industry.
Yeah,
which
that's it.
everyone's okay with that. It's absolutely fine.
Oh yeah, it's like nobody gets upset if you pick on Nazis, right? They're all yeah, okay, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Picking on Germans can be unfair, but
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
like picking on Nazis, no, it's nobody cares. You can pick on zombies, it's fine.
Or you can double up like Call of Duty. Didn't you have Nazi zombies?
Right?
There's no
Oh,
redemption from There's
no, that's
nothing they
it.
can do.
That's exactly right. They just keep coming. They're very efficient zombies.
So we'll go back on subject. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we'll
let's do it.
We'll come back to it. Resident Evil 4. So they went down more of an action route with this one. So like I said, you can do backflips. Like one of the memes for Resident Evil 4 is the amount of backflips Leon does for no reason. And there's a lot more tongue-in-cheek with the dialogue as well. Like there's a moment where you're on like the radio with one of the bad guys in a castle, and he's like, "I've sent my right hand to come and find you," and he's like, "Your right hand comes off." It's just like, oh,
That's so good. All your base belong to us. That's fucking brilliant.
that's yes, exactly. It's,
Except at least
it is-
your right hand comes off was intentionally written. It wasn't just bad
Yeah.
translation. Somebody wrote that and read it out in a group meeting somewhere, and they all went, "Oh yeah, underline
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
That's brilliant."
yeah, we're keeping that in. That's amazing. But yeah, so the overall arcing story for Resident Evil 4 is the president. Like again, it reeks of B movie storyline because you're like Leon Kennedy, what government agent? You're sent to go and rescue the president's daughter that has been abducted by a cult, and then the storyline is just you saving her.
Yeah.
The long and short of it is, and then you escape on a jet ski as the island explodes from the self-destruct system.
Yeah.
Of course.
It. I like the sitting at a committee and they've got all the story. I'm like, no, this is great. And somebody went, oh, self-destruct anybody? And I went, oh, let me jot that down. Yeah, of course.
I can't
Whoops.
believe we almost forgot that.
Yeah. How do we make the island explode? How doesn't matter. Just make it explode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many tons of C4 we've had to put around the island and that no one has somehow noticed it so far, but it's there and it's going to explode. It's fine.
The whole
And
game
you're gonna
runs
have a
off a
timer.
CD and a memory card. We've got the space to make it explode.
Exactly. So that was a turning point for Resident Evil because they started going down an action route, and a lot of people sort of fell out of love with the series. I was one of them because
As a shift in the genre, right? Yeah.
exactly, the thing is they were playing into more of the audience of the times because this is around the time that Call of Duty Modern Warfare was coming out and Gears of War, and people wanted action games. They wanted, fast paced, and for some reason people wanted QuickTime events, which Resident Evil 4 I think was the first one that did that. Exactly. They came in, everyone hated them, and then they were like, okay, we'll stop doing it. And now they're starting to bring them back with games like Detroit Become Human, things like that.
I think the idea of a QuickTime event was to make you feel like it was your skills. Like, can I roundhouse kick someone in the face in real life? Like, do I even have the skills? Not really, but if I press square, I can do it.
Yeah.
Can I actually fight with martial arts? No, but if I play Tekken, I can do it.
Yes.
So the QuickTime event was it's your reflexes that are doing.
The
there's a
ironic
level
thing
of your
with-
skill, because it's not until like the Wii comes out that there's a sense of you're in the game, right? And
Yeah,
moving around.
definitely. The ironic thing with like the QuickTime events though is that you're so focused on making sure you hit A and then B and X and then X B together at the same time that you're not paying attention to the fight scene because you're not. You can't if you look
there's
at
this
it,
cool
you're going to get
scene
stabbed.
and it's well animated, and you're focused like on this little bit just here where it's showing you
Exactly.
all the bits.
Yeah.
Dying Light 1, I just remembered the end boss is a QuickTime event. There are no QuickTime. I mean, you could argue that like sometimes the zombies rush you and it's press F to do this. I suppose that's a QuickTime event, but not really. Not in the same way. Not in the Tomb Raider way, right? But the last boss in Dying Light 1 is a QuickTime event. And it's
it's the guy in the helicopter with the rocket launcher. Is that right?
Yeah, he's fucking around, and then he just comes to fight you, and you've chopped his hand off, and he's dealing incredibly well with that.
I really enjoyed the interaction that Crane. It is Crane, isn't it?
Carl Crane.
With Dying Light. That's it. I enjoyed the interaction that Crane had with him because he's there trying to like monologue, and he just goes, "Oh my god, will you shut up?"
Yeah, I like that. That was good. Yeah, they knew what they were doing there. The QuickTime event was just weird because you've spent the entire game mastering your skills, so you've got some great weapons. You now know how to use them. They're upgraded. You've got poison and ice traps and grenades and stuff. And now you can fly kick people and you can throw them and you can dodge out the way and you can do all this stuff and you can. I think you can parry. It's number 1. I can't remember. It's a QuickTime event. So you're like, it's weird that getting here is the hardest part of the whole game.
The story was the journey, not the end.
Yeah, doesn't bring meaning to the destination because the destination is an entirely separate genre of game altogether. It's a QuickTime event.
Yeah, just I vaguely remember that. Yeah, I do, being like, huh. Oh, and now I can just keep playing because they just let you carry on going, don't they? They open up the city again.
Yeah,
and you can just
off you go. Yeah.
Yeah, go level up more. What for? Shut up. Just enjoy.
Yeah. Shut up. Keep stomping. That's it.
Exactly, and that's what it felt like with, ironically, Resident Evil 5, because they lent more into the co-op with this one.
Okay. I can definitely see there's a charm to the co-op because there's a real sense of, especially games that are scary, that bring the fear back, to have at least one buddy with you can be great. Mm-hmm. And also, as an audience, it's something I see people talk about, and it's coming back a little bit, couch co-op. Because there's just that human element of, I'm hanging out with my buddy, and we're staying up late playing video games, fucking eating Doritos, but we're actually doing something together socially.
Yes. Yeah. I did something. Ironically, I did something similar last night. I didn't have people over, but we were in Discord. We finished at 2 a.m. last night playing Schedule 1. But it was me, my partner Jazz, my friend Dan. We were just sat in Discord. We ordered Domino's and we hung out. And we were even saying like, "Oh, do you know how good this would be if we were just all hanging out right now? We just got some snacks in and we were just playing games." Like, yeah, but he'd have to bring his PC over. And we have to find a space for him. And
imagine how ridiculous it would be to go to someone's house and take your PC and like plug it in and have a LAN party. And oh god, that would never happen. You've become a quick save child. Yeah.
Exactly. Saying that about the LAN parties, I used to do that with Halo 2 before it went
Yes.
live with
Yep.
Xbox Live. It drove my mum crazy.
Oh
So
yeah.
obviously we're all a bunch of teenagers, and we bought like a router from like a PC store, and we all had like a bunch of LAN cables. But of course, then the problem is we don't have enough TVs. So we would have to
Sure.
take TVs.
Everyone's
We have
bringing
to
their
steal TVs.
CRT monitors that are huge and heavy, and
Yeah,
add
so
10 degrees to your house.
we actually got stopped by the police. They were just doing like a patrol walking around, and they were like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" Because we had a widescreen TV, but because it was so heavy, we had it on a skateboard, and we were just rolling it down the street. And they were like,
Oh, and you're
"These
British
kids have just
too,
stolen."
so it's like it's the actual plot. Of just, hello, hello, hello. What's going on over
Yeah.
here? And you're like, no, sir, we didn't rob the house. I promise.
We're gonna go play Halo.
Yeah, we're playing video games.
And I just remember my mum. Yeah, it's not a break and entering. They let us. I have a house key. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I specifically remember, like, my mum coming home from work, and there's just like cables all over the house. There's TVs in the hallway, the front room, the bedroom, the upstairs. Not in her room because we were not allowed in there.
That's fair.
But it was just everywhere all over the house, and just her going, "I've just come home from work, and there's sweaty teenagers everywhere. Get out!"
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I guess we
Smelly,
finished then,
smelly
guys. Good game.
teenagers. Yeah, GG's. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's like, I
man,
need to
parties.
cook dinner, and you're in the kitchen on the dining room table. Come on.
And that was always the thing, finding the space for people at LAN parties. We did it. I know I didn't do tons of them because
Yeah.
I just sort of did it. And then by the time I really got into it, we could internet game a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
But definitely like Warcraft 3 and stuff, that was going on. I mean, we never dreamed that we'd be able to play people with a console could play with people on a PC. That was just...
Oh no, that wasn't even.
That would never happen, right? It's just impossible.
Yes.
You can't make it happen. They're different languages.
Yes,
so that
exactly.
was amazing
Yeah.
when that became a thing. Yeah.
It's
LAN
changed
parties.
everything. But that was when they introduced online co-op to Resident Evil 5, so you could play it online, and the game is completely in action mode at this time as well. So, like,
Did
sort
it
of
still
the
have
horror.
the puzzles? Because it's my understanding that it's maybe not puzzle heavy, because the trick, at least in the early ones, is just get through the scary stuff and don't die. But there's definitely puzzles to it, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
there is definitely puzzles in the early ones, and that some of them can be quite complicated at times as well. Some of them are quite obvious, like I have to push this statue over the vent because when I press the button, it releases the door, but it also releases poison gas, and I lose a bunch of health.
Yeah.
And I can't get the item. But later on in these ones, the puzzles are more sort of like, oh, I have to shoot the ropes on this gate to drop the door for me so I can then continue. But also there's people behind me, so I have to like take out the people, shoot the first chain, then take out the other people, shoot the second chain, and then I can run through. It's more action orientated than cerebral, I would say.
Yeah, okay. You got to be quick rather than clever. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And then, of course, quick time events are still very rampant in this one.
Yuck. It's just,
Yeah.
it's it's weird because I don't hate them. It's just they can be such a lazy tool.
Yeah, it feels like, oh, we couldn't think of a boss fight for this, so you're going to press some buttons and then we'll move on the story and
Like,
we'll go from there.
Shadow of War, right? Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War.
Yep.
I don't have an issue with the quick time. When you die, there's a quick time event,
Yes.
and you might be able to save
Yes.
yourself. And it's I play on PC, so it's left click, or it's right click, or it's spacebar, or it's E. Like, you don't know which button it's going to be.
Yeah,
It's going to be one of the buttons on your keyboard or mouse, and you have a moment to see it, right? So it's not just a
Yes.
muscle memory response. That's a cool quick time event, because I need to be
Yes.
quick to save myself for a result. But when it's, the puzzle is, and when you go here, you'll just do those, that's just lazy.
Yes.
Maybe
I
they
agree,
did it to
definitely.
save space, I suppose. Maybe it takes, versus having like a small open area where you can go and do things and run around. It's no. To get
Yeah.
in, you just hit the buttons at the right time.
It feels kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons thing where you need to move the player on, but like you're trying to make it feel natural, but at the same time you're like, right, you need to stop fucking around over here. We're
Yeah.
going to this area now, and this is how you're getting here. No, you can't go back now because the bridge collapsed as you ran across it, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the DM
It-
going, stop looking at the house and just get across the bridge. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's also, so 5 is also the birthplace of a very big meme because it was purely action. There's the final boss fight. It takes, again, this whole B movie trope thing. The final boss fight takes place in a volcano.
Good.
Where you're fighting, and your character Chris, one of them, he punches a boulder, and that's become like a massive meme. They even address it in the 8th game where they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do with that boulder punching idiot as well," and stuff like that. It's
I like that.
It's so yeah. The final boss fight, you punch a boulder, you knock the boss into the lava, but as he's in the lava, you shoot him with 2 rocket launchers just to make sure. Of course,
shoot one rocket launcher and then another, or is it one in each hand?
No, not one in each hand. Both characters have a rocket launcher each. So you and your buddy have rocket launchers, and you shoot them at this guy.
It's co-op. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, 2. Because the lava didn't do it. I feel like falling into a pit of lava and getting shot with a rocket launcher doesn't do it. The backup second rocket launcher is not going to make that much of a difference at this point.
It's just overkill at this point. It's more sort of like, when you were playing a game when you're younger and your younger siblings they want to play, but you give them a controller that's not got no batteries or something like that, just so that they feel like they're part of something. That's what it feels like with that rocket launcher. Like, he's done. There's nothing else, but you take a shot. It's fine.
Yeah. Thanks for helping, kiddo. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
It's so moving on from 5, we go to everyone's least favorite, number 6.
Okay, are we still on PS2 at this time?
So this is on This is PS3, Xbox sort of era. So 5 was on 360 as well, same as PS3. Yep. And then on to 6, which I want to say is on Xbox One. I think it's on 360 and Xbox. It was like that crossover period.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
So this one's, I think this is widely regarded as the worst one for everyone, because it felt like they were trying to do too much. Because normally, until now, you've got like the 2 main characters in every game. So like in 1, you've got Jill and Chris. 2, you've got Claire and Leon. 3, you've got Jill and Carlos. 4, you've got Leon and then kind of Ashley and Ada. But then 5, you've got
like it's virtually 2 characters. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So in 6, you've got, I think it's like 4 different campaigns, each with 2 protagonists. So and then it's done in like episodic as well, and like it's the story's too spread thin to sort of grip you, and then the gameplay it's a lot of quick time events. They've got a pursuer monster like Nemesis, but it's kind of crappy. And then you've got like there's kind of a horror section like 4, and then they've got an action section. It's so spread out that it's sort of, and the story boils down to is that Chris is sad because his team got killed, and then he gets a new team, and then the team sacrifices himself again for him, and then that's it. That's it's
and
such
zombies.
But that's what, and there's zombies, but there's like loads of different, like, instead of just having the T virus, which is like the zombies from back then, you've now got the C virus, the D virus, and all this other stuff, and it does different things.
Yeah, that's a shame when they water it down too much. That's
it felt like they were. It felt like they were trying to please everyone, and in doing so, they pleased no one.
If they just went, you know what, we're going to release a game. It's a standalone game. People that play our game will go, yeah, I can definitely see how it's similar to the stuff they've done in the past with Resident Evil. But it's not Resident Evil. It's a different IP. It's similar because it's made by the same studio, and then maybe they'd completely forgive it. But instead they made... It's not just, that's my least favourite one of the series. Everyone hates that Resident Evil.
I mean, obviously you're going to get some naysayers, but they're just trying to be edgy.
Sure, edgelords.
Yeah, like, if you're playing a Resident Evil game and you talk about the other ones, you will always get someone... in your chat be like, when you playing 6 and stuff like that, it's a running joke for all people playing Resident Evil. It's like, yeah, when you playing 6, that's the best one, and everyone's like, shut up, we don't talk about
trolling the audience.
Yeah, exactly. It's but it's like the running joke because everyone knows that it's the bad one, so when you say it, everyone's just like, oh, you.
It's like, there's 9 Resident Evil games, I have all 8 of them, like, because nobody wants to talk about 6.
Exactly. There's a few other offshoots, but we won't talk. We'll be here until like 6 o'clock this evening for me, and like 2 in the morning you with all the offshoots. It's fine. We'll skip over something.
Honestly, when I looked it up and it said there was like 60 something, like I'll get a hit list together. It'll be fun, and we'll just run it as credits at the end or something. Other Resident Evil titles include. That's what we'll do.
Yeah. And then films, and then there's the animated films, and then there's comic books. There's a screenplay. There was actually a screenplay at one point as well.
As in, like, they're going to make a TV series? They did make a TV series.
They did, yes. That one.
I started watching
Netflix.
it. The first bit is cool. And then it just goes to, like, I was a teenager and this happened, and I'm moody, and I'm like, no. I came for a fucking Resident Evil show. You're living in, like, a tent in essentially Raccoon City. It looks very dangerous. I was cool. And now you're like, back when I lived in the community, I was going to high school, and these are my feelings. Like, fuck off. Stop it.
Yes.
Like, who are you
got
ingratiating
as far
with?
as I did.
Yeah. I was keen to give it a look.
Yes.
And that's...
I mean, Alex Reddick was in it, so you were instantly like, okay, this could be interesting.
Yeah, the teenagers that have moody bullshit in school, they're not going to fucking care. And for the people that are there for the zombies, we sure as shit don't want the moody, teenagery bullshit. Like, at least when the original Silent Hill, the original Resident Evil had some shitty dialogue, you didn't feel weird to just ignore it. Because you're like, nobody is here for this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't written in English. But it's like, this was written in English, performed in English, and it's terrible. Get the fuck out of here with your Resident Evil TV series.
It felt very much like a swing and a miss to try and bring a demographic in that wasn't interested. Moving on from 6 very swiftly, we go to 7, and that's where the series returns to horror, and it felt like the series got back on track because they were going down this route of action and this like typical B movie stuff. They brought back into the horror genre, and it was genuinely like there are jump scares in it that again, like sort of like when you play 4, like maybe there was 1 or 2, 5 nothing, 6 nothing, 7 jump scares galore. They also changed the perspective on the game again, so from the first ones with the fixed camera and the third person running around like fixed rooms and stuff like that, to the over shoulders, we've now gone into first person shooters with this one.
Okay, well that's good because that gives you the opportunity to be scary again. The closest thing to a Resident Evil game I've actually played was Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem on the GameCube. Which is an extraordinary game to the point I'm going to buy a GameCube controller to plug it into my PC to play it emulated on a GameCube. And that was the original, like the camera on rails. Some of the big rooms the camera would turn and follow you, but it was that very Resident Evil 1 and 2 type stuff.
Is that the one you're going around with like a flash camera, aren't you? And is that the one, or is that Beyond Good and Evil I'm thinking of?
No, that might be Beyond Good and Evil, yeah. This one is, you do play different characters, but they're all chapters in a book, and sort of the rapper character, she finds the chapters, and then she reads them. As she reads them, you play through as that other character, and then you sort of find a riddle, and she goes, oh, and then she'll sort of find what was discussed in the big mansion where she's living. But it was fantastic, because you have a health bar, a mana bar, and a sanity bar. Different characters had, like, the fireman had heaps of health and very little magic. The sort of witchcrafty lady had loads of magic, not much health, but lots of sanity. But as the sanity reduced, the cameras would tilt, or you get bugs run over the screen, or this wouldn't translate now because kids wouldn't know what it means, but you'd get these green bars come up on the screen, and they'd go down, and as they go down, the volume would turn down. And I was the perfect demographic for this, because my buddy had a GameCube, he had the game, and so every other weekend I'd go stay at his place. Where he was at the time, his dad was building a house, and so they were staying at his dad's partner's place. And so he had like the sort of offshoot studio downstairs next to the garage, so it was separate, and he had the bunk beds in there and the telly. So we were like teenage boys with just our own space, so we're up all hours playing this game. But it was one of the oldest, it wasn't old at the time, it was a perfectly brand new television that when you turned the volume down, you got big green bars that decreased on the screen.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
And they looked almost identical. The ones on his TV were like curved at the ends, and the ones on the GameCube were perfectly flat, but they were almost identical. And it wasn't... There's a part of my brain that went, that's different. But the response is, You're on the fucking remote. Get off the remote. We're doing the cutscene. What are you? And we're all thinking we're sitting on the remote, turning down the telly. And then you turn it up, and then like there's a jump scare on the screen because that was the whole intention.
Amazing!
It was an incredible game.
I love stuff like that. Like, I'm sure you've played the old Metal Gear Solid games.
I've seen a lot of them. I've been meaning to play them. I think I can get them on Switch these days, actually.
You definitely can. They've got them on Steam. You can buy them pretty cheap with like a collection as well, which is
great. I'll probably
it's like
just
the
do
old,
that. Yeah,
the old PlayStation versions.
Yeah,
so
like, whose
they
footprints
did
are these?
stuff...
And they all chase you around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and but like the old games, they did like tropes like that. Like there's a certain boss where he has psychic powers and he can read your mind.
Oh yeah.
So
and you have to unplug from controller port 1 into controller port 2, and then he's like, I can't read your mind.
Exactly, and then he would do a thing like he would read your memory card. He's like, "Oh, I see you like playing Crash Bandicoot and things like that." And
so
back
cool.
in the time, you're like, "Whoa, how does he know that?"
But I mean, that was exciting because it wasn't just can the technology do it. It's simply the fact no other games ever did it. They were the first ones to do it. So you didn't realize how fourth wall breaking it could be. Yeah.
Exactly. And then like there's a bit where you have to radio someone on the game, and they tell you in the game like, "Oh yeah, isn't the code on the back of the CD case?" And you're looking in all your inventories like, "I don't have a CD case."
Yeah.
And if you look on the back of your PlayStation case, it shows the code and the what you have to press in to do it. And you're like, "Holy shit, it's there." But of course, if you don't know that, because I tested it, it's like, "Well, what if I don't have the case anymore? What do I do then?" So I would just keep radioing people, and eventually they just go, "Oh, the code is this."
Oh, really? Oh, that's great.
So testing things like that, it was quite fun to do back then. But I love stuff like that, where like they try and mess with you a little bit. Like in the second Metal Gear Solid game, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, you've been playing for a certain amount of hours. Maybe you should turn the game off." And it's basically the game trying to make you stop playing so you can't complete the game.
Yeah,
and it just I find stuff like that very fun.
Or maybe just to convince you to have a glass of water and stand outside for 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, but who actually did that? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So with not 6, sorry, where we got on to, we're on 7 now. Mm-hmm. So it was a return to horror. Like they've gone into first person. Like they've brought back the narrow corridors, because it starts off where you're in like a house. They've brought back the pursuer, because there's the basically you get abducted by a family, and there's Jack Baker, who's like the father, and he like chases you around the house, and he like smashes through walls. You can't kill him until you get to the designated boss fight. And so they brought back the pursuer system, which it worked really well in this one, because it's sort of it's like we were saying earlier with the dungeon master, like you get across the bridge. Oh, the bridge fell down, so you can't go back. It's very much a case of he's pushing you to get out of that area to find something else, because otherwise you'll just wander around.
Ambling around the house, there's the occasional zombie and puzzles, and this character is just constantly chasing you, albeit slowly.
Yeah. You can normally run quite a bit faster than this. It's another thing that they bring up in 2, the remake later on. So it's sort of something to keep the pressure on so you can, once you've cleared out the area, there's still something to fight against and be worried about, instead of just being like, well, everything's gone now, I'll just figure out the puzzles and then eventually I'll get out. It sort of brings it raises the stakes still.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Keeps it horror.
Yeah, exactly. It has a self-destruct sequence, as always.
I hope so. At this stage, I'm like, I hope so. Yeah, I'd be disappointed if it didn't.
Yeah, they took a step away from the normal like virus trope in this one as well. So they've gone down the scary little girl route this time, which was quite fun. Mm-hmm. It was a change of pace, and it's more sort of instead of just there's hordes of zombies, there's tougher monsters, and there's the scary little girl. So it's sort of like more of a psychological horror instead of visceral, which is pretty cool.
All right, and that was received well, because that sounds like a fairly big departure. Just hearing it sounds like a big departure from the thing of, there's no zombies now. Is it like the occasional mutant person?
Yes, yeah. So it's like people that have been like transformed by, they call it the mold. It's like they turn into like these squiggly monsters that are like all black, so they hide in shadows really well, and they jump out at you and things like that.
Yeah, that sounds unpleasant. Nice, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a very big departure, but it was very well received because it felt like a return to horror. So it was more on form, and because they went for just a singular real protagonist this time, and it was kind of, instead of playing as like Leon and Chris, who are like, they've dealt with all of these outbreaks before, so they're veterans of like dealing with these scenarios. You play as a guy called Ethan, who's like your John Everyman. So the overarching storyline for 7 is that you play as Ethan. He receives a video message from his wife, who went missing like 4 years ago, telling him, ironically, she tells him not to go to the scary place. So of course he goes to the scary place to look for her.
Yeah.
And then he finds her, unwraps the mystery about the spooky little girl, and blows up, and then goes off from there.
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of like Dead Space. Well, what do you know? I'm just looking for my girlfriend, and all the bad things happened. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I went to the scary place where they told me not to go, and crazy enough, there's bad things there. And
Turns out it's a really bad place to be.
Exactly, but there was a cool thing about 7, was at the end, we get to see Chris again, who was a character from the first game.
Oh, nice.
And it's sort of, which it was like a thing at the end where he like takes his mask off, and you're like, oh my god, it's Chris. He's such an important. And then it cuts.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then it cuts out because it's the end of the game, so he doesn't actually do anything. It's just like, oh my god, there's Chris. Cool. All right. Well, I guess we'll wait for the sequel for that then.
Chronologically very far away from each other, or do all the games happen within like the same sort of decade?
So it's no, because it is very much spaced out, because you've got like the Raccoon City incident, which takes place over like sort of June, July, August, and then it jumps a few years to like Resident Evil 4, where like Leon has gone off to the government, he's trained up, and he's doing like his thing now for like saving the president's daughter. And then a few years pass again, and then Leon is in 6, where he's still working for the president, but then there's like all the wishy-washy storyline. And then you've got Leon again reappearing in 9, which is again another jump. And the guy's in like his 40s at this point.
Yeah.
Because the idea is, in the
I was going to say, like,
game,
when Chris comes back, is he an older man now?
Yes, yeah. So that's the cool thing, is that they have made it so that the characters get like older and more grizzled as the games go along. Like one of the funny things is in 5. So in Resident Evil 1, Chris is like a normal guy. He's just like a special tactics guy. You know, he's a bit jacked. He's like someone that would be like, you know, he's a rescue tactician kind of like cop.
Yeah.
Yes. You get to 5, and he's just absolutely jacked. He's punching boulders into volcanoes and firing rock. Like, it's insane. The biceps are bigger.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. he's living for his body at this point. And then you get to like 7, and he's back to a normal guy. He's got a stubble beard. He looks very grizzled. And then you get to like 8, and he's just a guy in a trench coat. He's just like, he's back to Chris in Resident Evil 1, but he's definitely been listening to Evanescence albums.
Yeah. Okay. He's moody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moody and brooding and upset.
Exactly, and that's what everyone obviously wants. They love a brooding good guy, but is he a good guy? I don't like his methods of getting the job done kind of guy.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah.
Well, he does blow up every job he goes to. Like, it literally explodes.
True. I mean, it's not him always setting the self-destruct sequence. It just seems to follow him around. It's I wouldn't want to be in the building that he worked at.
Yeah. Well, it'll explode. It's it's kind of guaranteed. What are we up to?
So
7?
So we've just passed on. Yeah, we've just finished 7 now. So he goes and he finds his wife. Everything is fantastic.
Okay, so the wife's fine, because my brain is in like a Silent Hill gear when I think of these games, and the wife is never okay.
No. In this one, you do actually go and you do save her.
Great.
So, yes, you actually. So you get away from Louisiana and come back. They live happily ever after for about a year or so, I would say,
until the next game comes out.
Exactly. So the next game comes in, and at this point, the character Ethan and his wife, they have a child. They have a daughter this time. And it starts off with like Chris comes in. This is where the morally grey side comes in that everyone loves. So you're there having dinner and talk about how wonderful your life is now, but you're traumatized by the past.
Sure.
And suddenly the power goes out. Your wife gets shot. She's done.
Yeah.
And they basically they drug you, kidnap you, and take you to somewhere in like it's somewhere in Spain, I believe. So in this one, you wake up in this European sort of area, and you're trying to track down your daughter, which was also kidnapped with you. You think that like Chris has turned bad, but like the reveal is that he was trying to help you the whole time and all this sort of stuff. And you find your wife again because it turned out it wasn't your wife. And there's I don't want to give too many like stories away because then if people play it, then they can find out for themselves. But at the end of this one, there's like sort of Ethan's story sort of wraps up, and it sort of ends the storyline for the mold, which is like the bioweapon for that one.
It's kind
which
of like
being
the
researched.
new T virus.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Is the idea within the story that the T virus, because the T virus is a manufactured thing, right? It's synthetic.
Yes.
So is it they made it from the mold, and we're just like going back to our roots, so to speak?
So the mold is an offshoot of. So they discuss it more in 8. It's a completely different thing. So you've done this so well. It's almost like you know.
Right. Okay. No. Yeah. I read a lot.
So right. So so Resident Evil 8 talks about the beginning of like pretty much everything. So the big bad from 8 is basically the Spanish flu hits her town. Her child dies, and she becomes racked with grief. She wanders into a cave to go die herself, where she finds a thing called the megamycelite, which is the start of the black mold. And when she touches it, she finds out that she can basically find the memories of everyone that has passed on, including her daughters. So she tries to do research on that to find out more to try and resurrect her child. Which, while she's doing that with the villagers and things like that, the founder of Umbrella, Oswald Spencer, he is like wandering through the area. He's like in university trying to come up with like a thesis or something like that to try and sort of get recognition, and he's obsessed with things like eugenics and the furthering the human race to make superhumans.
Every time that comes up,
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly. It always goes well. So he finds Mother Miranda, who is the big bad from 8, and he's like, holy shit, this whole thing that you're doing is incredible. And he becomes like her apprentice for a while, and he like furthers his education, and eventually he splits off with her because he wants to accomplish things like immortality, whereas she wants to accomplish resurrection. And he goes off to do research into viruses because obviously the different viruses can do different things, like increase like pain threshold, and like different symptoms can do things like that. Which is where he then ends up in the area of Resident Evil 5, where like he finds an African tribe that have a flower called the Stairway to the Sun. And from that, he synthesizes the progenitor virus, which is the base for all of the viruses from the other games. He builds the Spencer Mansion in Raccoon City to develop it and go further from there. And he has some founders with him, James Marcus and Edward Ashford. And so his like business partners, they go off to do things that they want to do with the with the progenitor virus. And from that, they manage to synthesize the T virus, which is what they're working on when it escapes. But they also have an offshoot as well called the G virus, which is what a scientist called William Birkin is working on, and he's the main bad guy from Resident Evil 2. And it's sort of like
so it really ties back. That's nice.
Yeah, so it's sort of it's when you play the games and like you watch like a lore video on YouTube, you're like, holy shit, this all makes sense now. But the good thing about the Resident Evil games is that you can play 1, and then you can play 4, you can play 5. Don't play 6. You can jump to 8, and because they're all their own separate storylines, you don't have to play them all to enjoy the storyline.
Yeah,
you can.
I'm a big one for getting the story and collecting the lore, and clues in the name of the podcast. But I also like it if you don't have to. Like sometimes you just don't feel like it, or you don't care. You're like, I came here for the cool mechanics and to do the thing. I don't really care what everyone's actually up to in Fallout. I'll join the team who wears the clothes and has the guns that I like at the time. Oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't have to get it. Like, I don't give a shit about my son. Forget it, Fallout. I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go. I'm not doing that. I want to find out about the brother. I want my power armor.
Yeah,
That's
do I
what
want
I want.
power armor? Do I want grenades that have robots inside? Do I want whatever the other ones do? Because I never played them, because I never want their stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to deal with the story. Should I want to, there's a lot of story to be had. Samalam, I have
Yes?
2 questions for you.
Yep.
One, what was the first video game you ever played?
First video game was Sonic 1 on the Mega Drive.
Excellent, excellent. What's your favourite conspiracy theory?
Ooh.
Doesn't have to be, you don't have to believe it. You can love it because it's ridiculous.
Okay. I think conspiracy theory. It's the Mothman conspiracy theory. I think is quite good
do
because
tell.
there's all sorts. So it's basically like a lot of people don't know if it's actually a man or if it's an alien or if it's like a time traveler. Like, it's a big deal in America. I've only just started looking into it because one of my friends does like a mystery podcast, and I've got to that episode.
Excellent.
And that's been my
Send
favorite.
me the link of that podcast. That sounds excellent.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's to do with like the collapse of a bridge, and the Mothman was seen before it collapsed, and there was no reason for it to collapse, and they thought it was a time traveler going back there, but it could also be an alien that destroyed it. But why would they do that? And yeah, it is very interesting, definitely.
Cool.
I'm just starting to get into it, and it's one of those things that it's gripped me straight away, and I need to find out more.
Yeah, I love a good conspiracy theory. I love them for the creativity, and I love them for... There's lengths people will go to ignore inconsistencies, but
Yeah,
what gets me more is the funny ways they're like, but this random fact ties it in, so that's all the plausibility I need to keep going.
exactly. I'm fully locked in now because you said that.
Yeah, that one little thing. You know, oh, the world is flat. I don't think the world is flat. What about this one tiny little thing? And you go, well, I guess we're all just going to tell everyone the world's flat and ignore everything else now. Mothman.
Yeah,
I'm going to look that up. That'll be my rabbit hole for this evening. Samalam, thanks for being on the show, my dude.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been very fun talking about it.